one of the beautiful things that happens when you're on TV all the time and, you travel around the way we do and you kind of develop this notoriety and, a lot of football players, baseball players, different guys of all walks of life, love wrestling. And Lawrence Taylor was one of those guys. At that time, he had a sports bar that was in the same almost parking lot from the stadium. He invited us over, and I'm sitting there, man. I'm slugging down some Miller Lights or some Sea Breezes or something, and I'm just looking there, and I'm looking at LT, and I'm going, this is the damnedest. How did I get here?
Yeah, what is my life, essentially, is what you're thinking.
He's the greatest football player that ever lived. If you just look and just pure impact on a game, and I know quarterbacks and they get all that, brother, he would disrupt a game to the point to where he just took it over. He's just an animal and a beast, and just he's just sitting there like a regular guy. We're up in his office and. They bring up a bunch of drinks and stuff, and we're just shooting the shit. And I just found myself, just going, man, how did I get here? What a perk.
Now that you say that, it triggers me to want to ask, can you remember any other time? That's a big moment. Can you remember a couple other times in your life where you kind of had that same, like, what is my life? How did I get here? I can't believe I'm meeting this person.
Well, it's a little different,
Okay.
but the same. Muhammad Ali.
Okay.
He came to a show, and him and Tommy Hearns in Detroit, I believe it was, and everybody was lined up like the Office people with Turner, and I mean this is Muhammad Ali. He's in the back, and he's signing stuff for all the higher ups with Turner, and I'm maybe 10 or 12th back of the line, and we're all just being respectful, sitting there with our mouth shut, and he looked up and he just I looked around, me? Come on up, champ. He came up and I walked, man, it was heat. All these people with Turner, these are like the suits, but what are you going to do? He said, come on up. I came up and he said, sit down. Big match tonight, champ. And I had a boxing glove for him to sign. Still got it upstairs. One of my prized possessions. I said, yeah, they're all big, champ. For me, he says, I'm sure you'll do fine. Boom. And I just floated off down the hall. I mean, there was something about the aura around that man that he was something other than just a mere mortal. There was something special about him. He just had this aura. It's the only way I could explain it.
Yeah.
That's the two, him and LT, that really stand out.
Now, here's the thing, because it's, as you talk with people, one of the biggest regrets is, man, I never got the picture. Were you able to get pictures with those guys? Or?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good,
yeah,
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
One more. We're in wrestling for WWF.
Okay.
Tully and I. We're in San Diego Sports Arena. So he knocks on the locker room door. One of the guys that worked there opened the door and goes, hey, there's a guy out here with his grandson. Said they just came down here to see you guys. Would you and Tully mind coming out signing something for us? And we're heels. And normally I'd just go, tell them, after the show or something. Just,
Yeah.
But I said, well, what the hell? It's a different mindset. So we walk out the door. Guy standing there yucking it up with his grandson. There was a couple of kids. Who do you think it was?
Grandson. And this is where? L.A.?
L.A. Or San Diego.
San Diego. I don't know. And
Gene Hackman.
Yeah, I never would have guessed that. But, Mr. Hoosiers.
Great actor.
Yeah, so many movies.
Great
Lex
actor.
Luthor, the original from Superman, so many movies.
Oh, God. The Firm.
The Firm, yeah. I mean, we could sit here all day.
Great. And there was one other guy,
That's so cool.
just because of his physique. It was an old Western called Laredo. Have you ever seen that? Probably not. And it was William Smith who played Falconetti in Rich Man, Poor Man. Did you see any of that?
No.
Now, that's something that you would probably enjoy watching. It was a series on TV. Look it up. But Falconetti, brother, when I was a kid, impressionable, bodies are the thing that got my attention. How do I look like that? He was like the first guy I saw with a physique, a set of arms like that. He wore this buckskin like shirt, short sleeve that was real tight. His friggin' guns were. And one day we're working L.A., and in the back they always had the celebrities would come back and meet the wrestlers and all that stuff. And there were fans, and I'm walking down the hall, and I looked over, and sitting on a crate, there he was. Older in life.
Yeah.
But still ruggedly good. Every Which Way You Can. You remember that movie?
No.
With Clint Eastwood?
No, I didn't see it.
You've missed a lot of cinema, haven't you?
I'm more of the 80s movies and forward. Yeah.
He played the heel opposite Clint Eastwood, and the whole theme of that is bare knuckle fighting. So I looked over, and it was, he smiled, and I just stopped. Nobody signed anything or took any pictures. I just stopped. He's sitting up on a crate like one of the boys, and I just said, "Man, you were the first guy that ever inspired me to go to a weight room."
Wow.
And we had a nice conversation. Yeah, man, I'm a wrestling fan. You guys work your ass off.
Isn't that something? These guys that end up being wrestling fans and like fans of yours, and yet you were such a big fan of theirs as a kid. Yeah. How cool is that?
Well, here's your reality, and I think I'm not speaking out of turn. All athletes, I don't care who they are, they all like and respect other athletes that can do something that they can't. And that's where the respect level comes in, because they do their thing at the highest level possible, and they look at another guy in another league or another sport or something else and go, God almighty, that guy's a hell of an athlete.
Arn, one of those things I got to tell you, though, because obviously we're off the rails a little bit and we'll get back into August, but one of the things that I want to tell you, as you go do your meet and greets and things like that, I think it's important to know that for many of the fans that are going to see you, many of the fans that are listening to this show that will meet you at some point in time, you are their Falconetti. You are their Lawrence Taylor. Wow. You are that. And I mean, I know that's hard for you. Are their Muhammad Ali, because that's you. They grew up watching you. You were their hero. And so I know it's hard for you to understand sometimes when you're in it, right? And you're just doing your thing. It's hard for you to put yourself in that mindset or that position to kind of see that. But I think it's when now talking about how you felt meeting those, that's how people feel meeting you, dude.
Well, that's very kind of you.
It's the reality of it, man. I'm telling you, these people, and I just want you to think about that as you go out there, because it's what you do and your kindness and the kindness that you've shown to people that listen to the show right in and that you've met. Man, it makes lasting impressions for a lifetime. I see it in my own son's life when he meets some of his favorite wrestlers now. So it's huge.
The quote that sticks with me every single time, no matter where I am, that I'll never forget, is when people look at you and they go, "You were a big part of my childhood."
Yep. It's not what you do for people, it's how you make them feel. And that's another one of my quotes. And when you brought so much joy to people, and when they think of nostalgia and what they grew up on and what they love, buddy, you and some of your buddies in this business were at the center of it.
Well, we're very fortunate to be one of the small percentage of people that every day of our life we got to go to work and do something we truly loved. Not many people can say that. So we have been blessed. And if you don't realize that and you're in this business, you need to get out, because it's a gift, it's an honor, it's a privilege. This business doesn't know anybody anything. We owe it everything.